Next is specialization. There are two concepts. One is specialization and the other one is division of labor. We need to differentiate between both of these, because I have seen that whenever the question comes in IGCSE or O levels, the students sometimes mix up the specialization concept or the division of labor. So first start with the specialization thing. Specialization is when people and businesses concentrate on what they are best at. When the work is divided and each worker concentrates on a specific tasks, therefore becomes expert at it. So in short, in easy words, if you are doing one task and you are doing it again and again, you become expert in it. So let me give you an example for that. Give an example of a carpenter. A carpenter is known as specialized in the wooden works. So whenever you have got some wooden work to be done in your home or anywhere, you are going to call up the carpenter. You're not going to call up anybody else. And why are you calling up the carpenter? The reason is because you know that the carpenter is somebody who is specialized in wooden works. So a carpenter becomes specialized in wooden works by doing the same type of work again and again. The second example is the example of a doctor. Previously, we have discussed about the doctor already. A doctor is specialized in treating patients. So whenever you are having a headache, or whenever you feel dizzy, whenever you feel like you are ill, so you are going to ask for the doctor. You are going to call up your doctor. And why are you calling up the doctor? Because you know a doctor is somebody who's specialized in treating the patients or treating the ill person. Next is mechanic, is specialized in repairing the vehicles. So whenever there is a fault in your vehicle, there is a fault in your car, what happens is you go to a mechanic. And why are you going to a mechanic? The reason is you know that the mechanic is somebody who is specialized in dealing with the cars. Got it? So whenever your car becomes ill, you go for the mechanic. Whenever you become ill, you go to the doctor, because you know a doctor is somebody who is specialized in treating the humans, and the mechanic is a doctor who is specialized in treating the vehicles. Next is a pilot. So whenever you see a pilot is specialized in flying an airplane. How? Because you know that a pilot is somebody who is specialized in flying an airplane, and you are going to call up a pilot if you want to fly an airplane. So these are the definitions or the examples of a specialization. Hope you have got the idea. If not, you can comment below and ask me about that, and I'll re-record the lecture for you, or I will explain the concept in more detail. So this was the concept of specialization. So giving it a quick overview, that specialization is when somebody gets specialized in doing one specific task, and how he or she is becoming specialized just because he is doing the work again and again. Okay, so first, what are the advantages of specialization? Advantage of specialization is increased output. Let's suppose you are making a chair. If you are making a chair for the first time, it may take you like 7 or 8 hours to make a complete chair. But what about the carpenter who is specialized in making the chairs? He might be doing the same work in around 2 or 2.5 hours. And why is he taking less time? Because he is getting expert in it. And as soon as you get expert in something, you become the specialized person in that thing. Give me an example in your subjects. Let's suppose you are solving one problem of mathematics. Let's suppose you are solving a problem of differentiation, or in your case factorization. So once you are gone through that case, and once you have solved that type of question, so one time it may take you more time But the second time or the third time, if you're going to solve that similar type of equation, you may be able to solve the same question in very less time. So the technique over there is, even if you want to save the time in mathematics paper, that's what the problem is with most of the students, that they are unable to find the time in the paper of mathematics and in the paper of accounting, because these are extensive papers. And the only problem is they didn't practice well about it, and they didn't practice all of the things, and whenever they are solving that type of question for the first time, it is taking too long for them to attempt that part. Well, the reason is they are not specialized in that particular topic of the mathematics. Similarly, in business, whenever somebody is doing one type of task again and again, he becomes or she becomes specialized in that. So you have had the examples of doctor, you have had the examples of carpenter. So these people become specialized with the passage of time, and they are going to treat, let's suppose we are talking about a doctor and we talk about the treatment of the patients. If one doctor is specialized, what he or she do is, next time whenever there is a patient and he has got the same symptoms, the doctor judge and diagnose the issue far quickly and in a better way. Therefore, it takes very less time for the doctor as well as the patient to get recovered. Maybe that the reason is because of the specialization and the experience of the doctor. So increased output is one thing. It can lead, the increased output can be related to the production. Like I gave you an example of making of a chair. So you may take less time in manufacturing and you may be able to produce more chairs in one day. The other example I gave you is for the services sector, where the doctor is able to cure the patient in less time, or he may diagnose the issue in very less time. Similarly, for the teachers in the services sector, the teachers who are more experienced are going to diagnose the issue of the students, that where they are having the problem, and they are going to sort that out in a very less time. That is why they are able to cover up the topics and cover up all of the syllabus in very less time and help you out in practicing the past papers. Second thing is the lower unit cost. The lower unit cost is when, let's suppose, again, getting back to the example of manufacturing of a chair, if one person is manufacturing 2 chairs in one day, and the other person, after getting specialized, after getting more experience, he is able to manufacture 4 chairs in one day. So what happens is, he is giving the same time, same number of hours to manufacture that chair. That means previously, let's suppose if his 2 chairs, the manufacturing unit cost of 2 chairs is, let's suppose, 1000 rupees. So now in the same manufacturing cost of 1000 rupees, he's able to manufacture 4 chairs. Got it? So let's suppose if in one day we are paying 1000 rupees or 1000 rupees, so cut it over there please. So second point is the lower unit cost. How do we explain the lower unit cost? Like given you an example earlier about the chair. Let's suppose if one person in 8 hours job is manufacturing 2 chairs, and the other person B, who is specialized enough in making the chairs, he's making 4 chairs in a day of same 8 hours. And let's suppose we being the owner of the chair manufacturing company, let's suppose we being the owner, we are paying $50 to a person per day for 8 hours job. So previously the person A made 2 chairs in $50. The second person, who after getting specialized, is making 4 chairs in $50. So that means the per unit cost, the unit cost in case A was, so he manufactured 2 chairs and the total cost is 50. So 50 divided by 2, that means $25 will be the cost of labor for Mr. A. But if somebody else, let's suppose Mr. B is manufacturing 4 chairs in 8 hours, and the unit cost is, and the total cost to be paid to him is $50, that means $50 divided by 4. So what will be the cost? At this point, he will be able to manufacture the chairs in far less cost. That will be $12.5 per chair. Got it? Next is workers become experts. Like whenever you hire a fresher, first time you were making the chair, you may take more time. And once you keep on doing the same task again and again and you become the expert in it, you manufacture more number of chairs in the same time. So this is what we call they become experts in doing the things, and expertise lead to lower unit cost as well. Improved accuracy, because first time you are, if you are baking a cake, first time if you are manufacturing anything, first time if you are solving any problem, it is not necessary you are going to solve it perfectly. The first time you may feel difficulties in baking, in manufacturing, in doing any task. Second time it will be far easier for you, and the finishing will be far better. So if you are making the cake again and again, once you become expert in it, what happens is you become the expert, and plus the quality of the cake becomes consistent, improved. And if you're talking about the manufacturing of chairs, the quality of the chairs, and the perfection in manufacturing and the perfection in assembling the chair becomes amazing. So improved accuracy is another thing. So these were these advantages of specialization: increased output, lower unit cost, workers becomes an expert, and then improved accuracy in the product and improved accuracy in the services sector as well. Okay, again the example of carpenter will produce more in less time. I have given you an example of the manufacturing of chairs already. So that means previously somebody who was manufacturing 2 chairs in one day, so once you become an expert, you may be able to produce 4 or 5 chairs in a day. Next is he will become expert in making the tables, chairs and cupboards. Obviously, if you are doing the job again and again, you become expert in it. And lastly, he will make tables of a better quality. So we have related the advantage of specialization with the example as well. Now it's your job to think of a doctor, think of a teacher, and think of a car mechanic. Is there any advantage of specialization to them? If yes, please list them down and tell me in the comment section that what type of advantages can they have, and if they are having that type of advantages, how can they improve their quality. Plus you will, once you will answer that question in the comment section below, what I do is I'll check them out and I'll give you a reply that whether these answers are acceptable or not according to the Cambridge. So let's move on to the next part. If you want to check the answers, you can directly check your answers at afzalchart.com/answers, and remember that these answers will be uploaded after a few days of recording of this video. Okay, next concept is specialization, a division of labor. So previously we talked about specialization. Now we're talking about division of labor. So what is division of labor? So when production process is divided in different tasks, when we divide the production process in different tasks, we call it division of labor and achieving the quick production. So that helps you out in achieving quick production. Let's share an example. Let's suppose you are manufacturing a car. So generally what happens is, first part, at the first step, what you do is you manufacture spares, then you manufacture the assembly unit, the engine and other parts that needs to be joined together. So at first stage, these things, these spare parts are manufactured and developed. Second step is, once these spares are manufactured, you are going to manufacture the complete engine. That assembly part is going to be assembled together to make a complete engine, to make a workable engine. So once those engines are prepared, next part is spray painter's unit. What happens is, once you have manufactured the engine and then you assemble all major portions of the car, major parts of the car, then what happens is you send it to the paints department and the painters are going to give it a color. Once that color is done, then there is a wheel assembly unit at the end. We assemble the wheels together with the car, and then at the end final inspection is made, the quality control check is made, There are a lot of processes in the car manufacturing. I have tried to squeeze it to the 4 sections in order to help you out in understanding the concept of division of labor. What happens is, at the first step, when the spares manufacturing was done and somebody was assembling those spares together, so this was been done by some specific type of labor, some specific department. You can call it spares department at the moment. Second department is the engine manufacturing and assembling department. These people, these rooms, these departments, what this department is doing, they are basically manufacturing the parts of the engine and then assembling it together. So these people are specialized in engine things. Third unit is, or the third department is the spray department. So these people are specialized in spraying of the cars and spraying or giving the color to a car. So these are the people who are expert in spraying or giving the color to your car. And then at the last, the people who are going to assemble the wheels and then doing the quality control, there may be another department for that. So what happens is, one thing is manufactured and we have divided the manufacturing of that one thing, one product, into different steps and different departments, and every department is getting specialized in their own fields. So if, and the division of labor is normally done in the production things. So whenever you are producing anything, previously we have discussed about the example of chairs. So if you are dividing that manufacturing of a chair in 3 or 4 departments, that one person is going to cut the wood, second person is going to assemble the lower part of the chair, third person is going to assemble the back of the chair, and fourth is going to paint that chair and doing the quality control. So you can divide the manufacturing of any product into multiple departments, and whenever you are dividing those labor, those departments into different units, that is called as division of labor. Got it? So previously we talked about specialization, right now we talk about division of labor. The difference in specialization and division of labor is, so specialization can be for the production sector, it can be for the services sector, you can be specialized in one particular thing. But division of labor is when you are manufacturing a product and dividing that product manufacturing line into different units. Correct? So it is, division of labor is always related to the production department. Okay, next concept is the added value concept. It is one of the most important concepts in this chapter. What is added value? The difference between the selling price of a product and the cost of bought in materials and components. Again, repeating the same example of chair. Let's suppose, what ingredients, what factors of production are required to manufacture a chair? What resources are required to manufacture a chair? You require wood, you require nails, you require paint, you require a labor, and you may require an area where you're going to manufacture that area. That means a shop or an outlet where you're going to manufacture that thing. So all of the cost combined together for these things, let's suppose the cost of manufacturing a chair is 100. Got it? So if the cost of manufacturing of one chair is 100 and you're selling that chair in $120, that means you are saving 20 over there. Got it? So the cost of manufacturing plus the labor plus everything, all of the cost combined together is 100 for a single chair. And if you're selling that chair in 120, that means you are saving 20. So added value is basically you get an item in 100 and you are upselling that item in 120. So the difference between the cost of bought in materials and the selling price of that product is called as added value. Companies can increase the added value as well. If you are manufacturing or trading goods, you can increase the added value by either increasing the selling price. Over here you can see that the sales price of a particular product was previously 120. The manufacturing cost was 100. Now what you did is, the manufacturing cost remains the same, but you increase the selling price of a product. The reason may be, now your product is very much branded in the market. Now more and more people are demanding your product, and now what you do is you increase the selling price of the product because you believe it is now of a quality product. So by increasing the selling price of a product, you increase the added value. Second option is you can increase the added value by decreasing the cost price. The opposite thing. Previously what you did was increasing the selling price. Right now what you did is decreasing the cost price of the materials. Decreasing the cost price seems very easy in theoretical case, but it is one of the toughest things but in the real world. So cost price, decreasing the cost price. What do you mean by decreasing the cost price? Like previously you were manufacturing the chairs in 100, now you are getting expert in it. Now what happens is previously you were making 2 chairs in one day, now you're making 4 chairs in one day. Eventually what happens is at the end of the day your cost price of manufacturing one chair will be lower. So if you're decreasing the cost price, that will lead to more added value. So the difference between 80 and 120 is 40. Previously the added value was 20, right now the added value is 40 in this case. So there are two ways to increase the added value. One is by increasing the selling price, other way around is by decreasing the cost price. There are other methods to increase the added value that maybe improve the quality of a product. So think of an example of Apple iPhone. They are improving the quality of product, they are improving the quality of pictures, they are adding up new features into their phones, and they are improving the security standards. What happens is at the end of the day they are going to charge higher price to their consumers. Improve product packaging. If you have improved the packaging of a product, it will attract the consumer. You will be attracted and you will buy more product, or you will buy the product in higher prices. Branding a product. Think of a burger you are buying from a non-branded shop, and think of a burger being bought by the branded shop like McDonald's, KFC, Burger Kings. So if you are buying the burgers from these branded shops, the cost of the burger, the selling price of the burger will be high, and the selling price of the burger from a non-branded shop will be lower. And what is the reason? Because of the brand value, because of the value of the brand you are due to which you are buying the product. Hope the point is clear. So how to increase an added value? Let's suppose, give an example. Shibli Juices Limited is an organization. What this organization do is they buy oranges from farmers and sells the packed juices to the consumers. So you may have seen many orange juices in the market. What they do is they eventually buy the oranges from the farmers, they pack it and they sell it to you. How do they add value to the product? By, have a look. So first the oranges were bought from the farmers. Think of a price on which these oranges were bought. Let's suppose the cost of each orange was $1. Next, what you do is you select the best oranges and then you extract the juice out of it. Now, selection of the best oranges has a cost. Then extraction of a juice will be dealt by some machines, and you may need electricity and supervision for that. There will be an additional cost for that. So now the cost may be 10 cents more. So previously the cost of buying the oranges were $1. Now the total cost is $1.10. Third step, you are sterilizing the juice, concentrating the juice, and then at this step it bears another cost. Now the cost of an item is 1.20. Previously the cost was 1.10. Let's suppose 10 more cents is the cost for sterilizing and concentration. Now the cost of your product is $1.20. And then at the last, they are packaging and storing the product at the warehouse. Packaging and storing has another cost. Now they are going to add that cost, and let's suppose the cost is 10 cents again. Now the cost will be $1.30 for one packet of orange juice. And let's suppose if one pack of orange juice takes one complete orange, so that means previously you bought an orange for one. Now you are improvising that orange packet into 1.30, and if the cost of the product is 1.30, previously if you are buying the oranges and selling the same oranges into the market, let's suppose if your cost was 1, you may be able to sell the oranges in 1.10 or 1.20 maximum. But if you are packaging the product and if you are branding that product, now you may be able to sell up the package at $2 or more than $2. Previously you were saving 10 or 20 cents on one orange. Right now you are saving 60 to 70 cents on one orange by just improvising the thing. So this is what is done by the Nestle. What they do is they package the product and they sell the product to you with a good brand, with a good packaging. So this is how the value is added at each and every step. So if you're selling up the oranges only, they will be sold as 1.10 only maybe, and you are going to save 10 cents. If you are extracting the juices, sterilizing it and packaging it, you may be able to save 60 to 70 cents for the same orange, and you are covering all of your costs from the selling price. So this is how the companies may increase the added value if we're talking about the product. Okay, so quick overview for the topics. So we have discussed about needs, we have discussed about wants, difference between needs and wants, economic problem, factors of production. Now give 1 minute to this slide, and from the very first point, start thinking that are you able to understand these concepts or not. So I'll repeat these concepts again and again, like starting from needs, the basic necessities of life. You may have understood it already. Wants, luxuries of life. Difference between need and want is the needs are the needs are the necessities, whereas the wants are the luxuries. And we discussed the example of house versus mansion. We discussed the example of food versus burgers, McDonald's. We discussed about the Ferrari over there a lot. Then what is the economic problem? That even if you are able to produce and even you are able to demand a lot of product, if you want everything and everything is even available to you for free, it requires some resources to make that thing. We discussed about the example of Ferrari over there. Then we talk about 4 factors of production, and those factors were land, labor, capital, and enterprise. We discussed about each factor separately, and if you are unable to understand that, you may just scroll back and see that what I discussed about that land, labor, capital, and enterprise. Then we talk about scarcity of resources, and then we talk about the opportunity cost. In opportunity cost, we discussed the example of an ice cream versus the chocolate. We discussed the example of the cupcake versus the donut. And then we discussed about the government level decisions, where we discussed about the janitorial work, upgradation of machinery of janitorial staff versus the road networks. We discussed about the schools versus the hospital, and government may decide what needs to be, where they need to invest, and the opportunity cost was the next best alternative that is foregone for choosing the best thing. So if you're choosing one thing over another, the other thing which you're sacrificing was known as your opportunity cost. Specialization, just like whenever there is a word of specialization coming in, there should be 4 people coming in your mind: doctor, carpenter, mechanic, pilot. So these people are specialized in their own jobs. And then division of labor, whenever there is a concept of division of labor, there should be a production of cars in your mind. There should be a production of chairs and tables in your mind, that how we are dividing the labor into multiple segments, multiple units, and how they are getting expert in their own fields, in their own departments only. And then We discussed about the division of labor, already discussed. We discussed about the added value and how to increase the added value in the companies. Okay, now important element is for IGCSE and O level specifically, needs, wants and economic problem. I have seen that in most of the past papers, the question is of level 1. And what do you mean by level 1? You can see on the top, lower right corner, that level 1 is the knowledge based questions. And knowledge based means they are going to ask you about the identification or definitions, and most of the time I've seen the identification or definition type of stuff from the examiners. I'm not saying it is going to be the same, but most of the time these are easier concepts, the examiner is not going to be very much interested is going to level 3 for these things, maybe. Then at level 2, I have seen the past papers that most of the past papers are dealing with the difference between needs and wants, which is the level 2, where you have to give the definitions, advantages and disadvantages of a thing, and then you have to explain those advantages and disadvantages. Is the level 2, and you can see the level 2 questions are difference between needs and wants, scarcity, opportunity cost, specialization, division of labor, added value. So these are the concepts which are going to be, he may ask you about the difference between needs and wants. He may ask you advantages and disadvantages of an opportunity cost or specialization. He may ask you advantage, disadvantage of division of labor. He may ask you about the features of an added value. All right, and what may be the disadvantages of an added value. He may ask you that. And then at the level 3, 4 factors of production. Level 3 means he's going to ask you definition. You have to justify that definition as well. You have to give a knowledge, you have to give an explanation, and then you have to give a justification. And how to attempt this level 2 and level 3 marks question, I'm going to share another specific video with that for these things, and we'll discuss these in detail later on. So for the time being, so this was all about the chapter number 1. Now if you are feeling any issue, if you're having any issues in any of the parts, you can just comment over there, or you can ask me anytime at afzalshad.com/ask. Now what to do next? Open up your books, the syllabus books, and you have to solve the activities given in those books related to the chapter number 1. So if you're following any particular course book, just go through the activities and solve all of the short questions. If you want more questions to be practiced, if you want to practice more questions, because more practice leads to specialization, and more specialization leads to perfection, higher quality, and higher quality leads to higher grading, and you know that. And if you need more practice activities, you can contact me anytime at my website. Once you are done with these activities, remember, you're not going to go to step 2 directly, and there is a reason for that. Once you have solved all of these activities, then you are going to attempt the exam style questions, which are normally given at the end of the chapter. So you are going to attempt those questions. There may be a question of 2 marks, 4 marks and 6 marks in exam style questions. So you can ask for practice question. If you need more questions from me, from the past papers, from the other books, you may be following one book. I have like 6-7 books which may be related, are endorsed by Cambridge and which are related to your topics. I am going to give you the question from those books as well. Don't forget to mention your grade and book you already have, in which grade you are and which book are you following, because if you're following book A, I'm going to share book B, C, D with you. And if you're following book B, I'm going to share the exercise of book A, C, and D with you. And then finally, we'll practice the topicals. After you cover complete section, start attempting the topical past papers. Topical past papers, you can like buy the topical past paper from any of the teacher. If you are in a school, the regular student of a school, you may ask your teacher for the topical. If he is prepared for that, it's perfect. If not, then you have to buy the topicals, and you can buy the topicals by me as well, which is Business Studies Topical by Sir Afzal Shad, and it is available in the market. If you are unable to find that out in the nearby bookstore, you can just order it online on afzalshad.com/contact us. You can contact me anytime. So that's it for the day. Thank you very much.